to bringing in Dan Henderson, and I think, frankly, he's injured too, right? Why can't they just coach together and then be on the April fight? To me, it makes all the sense in the world. The reason why they're not doing it is because the ticket sales originally for Jones versus Hendo weren't very good. And ticket sales for Jones versus Sonnen are going to be great. One thing I like to note about Dana White, though, as much as I'm praising the UFC for this move, when you're not allowing Dan Henderson to take this gig or Lyoto Machida, and you go on a conference call and you say, well, these guys, they had their chance. They had their chance. Yeah. Did anybody notice that the only people who accepted the fights were middleweights? Like, no light heavyweight contender said yes, because it makes no sense for a light heavyweight contender who's already been throttled by John Jones to take a short notice fight. For a middleweight, yeah, why not? I'll go fight John Jones, make a bunch of money, and go right back down to middleweight if you veto belt. It's a really, really, really unfair thing to say. I understand he's got to figure out a way to sell Jones and Jones Sonnen, but the idea that, well, these middleweights, boy, they're so brave. No, they're not more brave. They just have a lot greater incentive to say yes.
Mikey on MMAfighting.com.
I honestly think that Chael Sonnen has a chance. These stupid so-called analysts who know the sport and supposedly think that Chael Sonnen is just basically doing it for the paycheck. I don't think so. I think he's honestly going to come in there and take it to John Jones. I think he's going to be the only guy to run in there, press the action. They're counting this dude out, and why would you count Chael Sonnen out? He's a tough son of a bitch. He's tough. He's aggressive. He's always in your face. He's the only dude in the last 10 years to take it to Anderson Silva and basically beat him for 5 rounds. And nobody mentions that Chael Sonnen, in the Anderson Silva fight part 2, Anderson Silva was illegally holding his pants and grabbing on him, and nobody said anything about that. They're like, Anderson, stop. And then he did that illegal knee to the head. If he wouldn't have done that crazy spinning back fist, I think he would have still took it to Anderson and still been able to win that fight. And honestly, you guys are going to think I'm crazy for talking about Chael Sonnen winning a title. And why I say that is because if you look at all the opponents who ever fought John Jones or fought Anderson Silva for that matter, what do they do, for an example? They stay on the outside and they let these dudes pick their shots and get their shots going. The same thing with Anderson Silva. A lot of guys stand there and they wait for Anderson to get momentum, and then he attacks them and they can't do shit. The same thing I think with John Jones. A lot of people stand on the outside. They're not aggressive. They're not that guy who's going to say, when the bell rings, when the bell starts and round starts, he's up in their face. I think and he's going to take John Jones down and pound on him. And John Jones, in an interview, said, there's no way Chael Sonnen could take him down. He's not that great of a striker. Pretty much he's a one-trick pony. He's a ground fighter. Yes, I can see him being on the ground, but that's the only thing his downfall is his submission defense. That's the only thing. This dude needs to be training some hardcore training, some hardcore Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu ground defense. Other than that, I see Chael Sonnen taking it to John Jones like nobody's ever taken it to John Jones. When was the last time you seen John Jones on his back getting his face pounded in for 5 rounds? No, not never. And honestly, like I said, these analysts are saying, they're counting this guy out. They're saying, well, he's only taking a fight because he's going to make a big payday and then go back down to 185 and continuously fighting down there. Are you guys going to be shocked when John Jones gets beat by Chael Sonnen? And a lot of people say Chael Sonnen sucks. Well, he's one of the best fighters ever. He's the only fighter in the UFC who took it to Anderson Silva for 5 rounds and dominated him. Yes, Anderson Silva has lost 4 times in his career, so you cannot say he's an unbeatable man. Yes, he's unbeatable from 2005 to 2012, and I honestly think he's still beatable, and Chael Sonnen is the man that showed how you can beat him, and Chael Sonnen is going to be the man to show you how to beat John Jones. And I've said this in previous prediction videos. You take him to the ground and you brutalize him with your wrestling, because wrestling and keeping a guy on his back will tire you out. If you're not used to being on your back for 5 rounds, having a guy just swing and punch on you, kind of like John Finch does, then you're going to gas out. Look what John Finch did to that Eric Silva guy. That dude wasn't used to being on his back, and he kind of gassed out a little bit in that fight. But I think Jon Jones is in over his head. If he can keep it standing, I'll give the fight to Jon Jones all day, every day. But if it goes to the ground, this dude's getting whooped. And my honest opinion, because I'm watching this MMA debate on, is Chael Sonnen versus Jon Jones a legitimate good fight? Am I one of the only guys who doesn't care about ranks, or does this guy deserve a title shot? Does this guy not deserve a title shot? They're saying yes, he came off a loss, right? Yes, he came off of a title shot loss, and they're saying, and these analysts are saying, well, Jose Aldo versus Frankie Edgar, that's a legitimate fight. That fight should happen. I honestly think that fight shouldn't happen. If you're going to a new weight class, you shouldn't automatically get a title shot right off the bat. But my opinion is, I don't care if you're the #1 contender, a number 20 guy. It doesn't matter to me. I just want to see fights that are unique. And I think this fight is a unique fight because it's not like he's the #1 contender and this guy's the champion. No, he's a guy who wants to fight, and he'll fight anybody, anywhere. That's why I love, like, Nick Diaz and Nate Diaz. They'll fight anybody, anytime, anywhere. And that's the way it should be. You shouldn't be like, well, Chael Sonnen in the 205 division wouldn't even be ranked in the top 10. So, if you see Jon Jones lose this fight, then that means he was the man, and he was the dude that can beat him.
I mean, he's never been a champion, and he's basically being catapulted above everybody else because of his talking, which to me would ring a little hollower when he's talking about Jon Jones when he didn't back up the first thing, the second time when he didn't do that with Silva. So you're talking about something that will ring out a little hollower through this process, at least to me. I don't know how to go to casual fans, but the situations are just very different. The one thing, though, about Dave Doyle and what he was saying was he wanted people to keep the standards black and white. If you are critical of Sonnen and Jones, then you are critical of, across the board, of matchups like Edgar and Aldo. You would say that on the reverse side, if you are okay, if you're advocating that this fight should be fine, you're also painting yourself in the corner that say that you don't really have a say in.
Why are they getting on? Oh, wait. Why is the plane glowing? No. Get down!
#1 contenders. You no longer say that there is such a thing as a #1 contender, that's just a mirage. And I think that's the problem I had basically with that piece.
So guys, in the comment section below, do you think it's gonna be another Jon Jones whooping your ass type fight, or do you honestly think Chael Sonnen has an honest chance? Post that in the comment section below. Do you think he has a chance, or do you think it's just going to be a destruction of another fighter by Jon Jones? With that said, please rate, comment, and subscribe. And if you guys want to hear more MMA predictions, go to Trevor's MMA on YouTube, and you can see full in-depth fights, interviews, everything. I go in depth, and the link will be in the description box. With that said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.